Reports indicate a masked individual was apprehended following an incident involving the former Prince Andrew in the vicinity of his Sandringham estate residence. The event, which occurred yesterday evening, saw the man, reportedly wearing a balaclava, advance towards Andrew from approximately 50 feet as he exited his vehicle during a dog walk. While all parties were reported to be unharmed, Andrew was described as being visibly affected by the encounter, underscoring the persistent challenges that continue to surround him. This extraordinary event highlights the complexities associated with his position, particularly as he was understood to be residing on the Sandringham estate, specifically maintain a degree of privacy and ensure his safety away from public scrutiny. Despite widespread sentiment suggesting a desire for Andrew to recede from public life, he consistently remains a subject of media attention. A perspective exists that he might welcome such incidents as a means to re-engage discussions concerning the cost of his personal security, though no suggestion has been made that this particular event was orchestrated. The incident, however, does prompt a pertinent inquiry. Following the king's decision to divest his brother of royal titles and cease the financial provisions that included royal protection, Andrew assumed responsibility for funding his own security arrangements. This recent security breach could, therefore, provide a legitimate basis for him to seek renewed assistance with these provisions. The removal of security for members of the royal family inherently carries a risk of such occurrences, and the timing of this particular event will undoubtedly fuel further speculation and discussion. It presents a scenario where he might communicate his brother a renewed need for state-funded security. This situation also serves as a potent reminder that the inherent structure of placing the royal family and hereditary privilege at the core of national life means individuals cannot simply disengage from it. Unlike a government role, where departure from a position allows a person to fade in obscurity, this is not the reality for royals. This phenomenon has been observed with figures such as Harry and Meghan, who consistently remain subjects of public interest due to their enduring connection to the institution. Even former prime ministers typically retain security provisions, making the withdrawal of Andrew's security particularly noteworthy, potentially influenced by a desire to avoid public perception of the king directly funding it. Concurrently, a period of notable events has unfolded for those critical of the British monarchy's ongoing relevance, including the activities of the Sussexes. Their recent of Australia, characterised by some as a faux royal reportedly garnered more derision and indifference than it did the intended pomp and pageantry. This perception stands in contrast to the king's recent successful engagement in America, which has been widely viewed as a triumph. Further positive news has emerged with the announcement of the Princess of Wales's return official overseas engagements. She has navigated a challenging period marked by a cancer diagnosis, subsequent surgery, and months of increasing, often unfounded, conspiracy theories, alongside a public relations misstep involving a photoshopped Easter image. This series of events had contributed a period of national scrutiny, but her impending return suggests a sense of stability for the institution, raising questions about how long this positive royal momentum can endure before another significant challenge, potentially involving Andrew, emerges. The Princess of Wales has confirmed her first foreign trip in almost 4 years, a day and a half Italy. This engagement aligns with her ongoing commitment to early years initiatives, marking a significant milestone in her gradual re-engagement with public duties, which commenced in late 2024. She has consistently articulated her intention to intensify her focus on family and private time, aspects she prioritized even before her diagnosis and treatment. Her steadfast commitment remains her children's well-being, particularly during their formative years, and prior her and William's eventual ascension to the throne. Her approach returning work has been characterized by setting her own terms, and her absence has been palpably felt by the public. Engaging in her work brings her considerable satisfaction, and for many, returning professional life after a cancer diagnosis can be instrumental in restoring a sense of self. When she interacts with children and performs her duties in this area, she exhibits a genuine vitality. Prince William is expected to maintain a protective stance regarding her health, and will continue to prioritize his family's well-being above all else. Their approach, royal parenting, has redefined norms for a new generation, emphasizing a family-first philosophy, though this dynamic is anticipated shift once they assume the roles of king and queen. Kensington Palace has emphasized a focus on quality over quantity in their engagements, concentrating on areas where they believe they can effect meaningful change. Her influence on fashion continues to be a distinct yet significant area of public interest. Her sarrial choices consistently contribute positively to the fashion economy, and her professional focus does not diminish this impact. Practical considerations, such as attire suitable for engaging with children, are evident, yet even a simple pantsuit garners substantial attention. A decision by the palace not to provide regular updates on her fashion choices has made it more challenging for media outlets to identify her specific garments, but she undeniably maintains her status as a figure of glamour and style. In other family developments, Princess Eugenie is expecting her third child with her husband, Jack Brooksbank. The couple are already parents to 2 sons, August and Ernest. Buckingham Palace issued the announcement, stating that the king expressed delight at the news. Notably, this announcement was not accompanied by a customary celebratory Instagram post from Sarah Ferguson, who has maintained an uncharacteristic silence on the matter. The king appears to be actively seeking to preserve his connection with both Eugenie and Beatrice, aiming to prevent their isolation from the wider family. Previously, the sisters had largely been perceived as distinct from the controversies surrounding their parents. However, public perception has since evolved. The recent release of the Epstein files has created a division in public opinion regarding whether the sisters exercised poor judgment. Questions have arisen concerning their visits to Epstein when they were in their late teens, at a time when he had already faced arrest, and about significant financial sums reportedly deposited in their accounts. Public discourse now includes inquiries in the extent of their knowledge and the questions they may have posed. Nevertheless, from a familial standpoint, the underlying relationships are remain unchanged. The palace's announcement is seen as a subtle affirmation that, irrespective of any challenges they may face, they retain the king's support. The news of the impending royal birth was met with a positive reception in Australia, where there is a notable affinity for royal baby announcements and the younger, more contemporary members of the royal family. This particular family unit is perceived as being in need of favourable news, given the ongoing public association with their father, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, and their mother, Sarah Ferguson. However, Andrew's persistent capacity to attract negative media attention remains a point of concern. He continues to hold a position within the line of succession, and the new baby's arrival will further adjust his placement. In Australia, some segments of the population express difficulty in taking the monarchy seriously, as long as Andrew remains formally connected, questioning why he has not been removed from the succession, even while acknowledging the legal complexities involved in such a removal. The allegations surrounding Andrew have undeniably affected the monarchy's public image, yet overall, the popularity of the royals in Australia has not seen a significant decline. Reflecting on the 3-year mark since the king's coronation, his recent visit to the United States emerged as a particularly defining moment. His address to the US Congress was widely regarded as a masterful performance, serving to re-establish the foundational special relationship between the United Kingdom and the United States. He presented an image of control and command, with the speech potentially being remembered as a landmark address not only of his current reign but also of his extensive tenure as Prince of Wales. His early reign has been characterized by a blend of successes and challenges. His cancer diagnosis and the ongoing complexities surrounding Andrew have exacted and brought a degree of public disquiet. He also continues to navigate the repercussions of his son, the Duke of Sussex, and his wife Meghan, who frequently generate public discussion. In stark contrast, the late Queen, who had facilitated Andrew's continued public role, even contributing a settlement with Virginia Giuffre and reportedly believing her son's account, King Charles has adopted a more resolute stance, notably stripping Andrew of his titles in an unprecedented and decisive move. The king has also contended with the retirement of his long-serving unnamed bodyguard, widely recognised for his distinctive white beard, and affectionately dubbed the Kingsman by admirers. The anonymity maintained by security personnel is a standard practice for such roles, The bodyguard had initially planned his retirement prior the US year, but was reportedly persuaded by the king extend his service. It is a common occurrence for staff members remain in royal service beyond typical retirement age, often due to the king's personal preference for their continued presence. A substantial send-off is reportedly being planned for the bodyguard. While some have speculated about deeper motivations for his departure, the role is undersod demand immense pressure and unwavering dedication, with remuneration not being the primary driver. Transparency regarding royal finances has been brought in sharper focus with the publication of Prince William's tax information. For the 2023-24 financial year, he recorded a surplus of £23.6 million from the Duchy of Cornwall, with approximately £13.5 million identified as taxable income. This resulted in an estimated tax liability between £5 million and £7 million, calculated at a 45 rate. William had previously ceased voluntarily disclosing this figure, but scrutiny surrounding the duchies necessitated its public release. Reports have indicated instances where the duchies were reportedly charging the National Health Service, the Army, and the Navy for land usage, which has been met with considerable astonishment. The sovereign grant, which constitutes public funds, currently stands at around £130 million, a portion of which is allocated the ongoing refurbishment of Buckingham Palace. The duchies were established provide a personal income for the heir to the throne, a system that dates back 1337. While William has been credited with efforts to modernise the Duchy of Cornwall, the public perception of these financial arrangements can be challenging, particularly during periods of economic hardship for the wider population. The Andrew situation has also cast a light on the practice of peppercorn rents, inadvertently affecting the public's view of William and Kate. Discomfort has been expressed over a 21-bedroom apartment at Kensington Palace, refurbished at taxpayer expense, remaining unoccupied, especially given William's advocacy on issues such as homelessness. Similarly, the concept of a slimmed-down monarchy appears contradictory if funding levels are not correspondingly reduced. A reduction in personnel performing fewer duties with the same financial allocation does not align with public expectations, which generally anticipate visible engagement from the royal family. On the entertainment front, Netflix is reportedly expanding its royal cinematic universe with a new iteration of The Crown. This forthcoming series is set to commence shortly after the demise of Queen Victoria, tracing through the reigns of Edward VII, George V, Edward VIII and George VI, culminating in the early years of Queen Elizabeth II's reign, thereby encompassing significant global conflicts. Original series creator Peter Morgan and the production company Left Bank are overseeing the project, which is reported has a substantial budget of £500 million. Given that none of the historical figures portrayed in this new timeline will be contemporary, the series is anticipated to be enjoyed as a high-quality historical drama, potentially avoiding the more recent controversies that sometimes affected the later seasons of the original series, which were occasionally perceived as closely mirroring current events. Regarding royal culinary preferences, the tradition of afternoon tea remains a strict and cherished practice within the household. Both the king and the late queen were known enthusiasts of the ritual. Garden parties typically feature offerings such as iced tea and iced coffee, alongside traditional finger sandwiches and scones. A regional Scottish delicacy, the clootie dumpling, a fruit-based cake, has also been known to appear at royal tea events, adding a distinct regional flavour these occasions. The overall landscape of the British monarchy continues to present a dynamic interplay of tradition, personal challenges, public scrutiny and its enduring representation across various media, underscoring its complex and often dramatic presence in national life and cultural narratives.